Hi everyone, it's Vicky here today, designing with the Hip Kit Club Make It's. They've just arrived. This is my first layout and it's Sketch Friday. We have this sketch from Jessica and I'm joining in with that. So I start off with 3 photos. The sketch only has 1, but I wanted to put these 3 together. They went really well with the sentiments in the kit, the positive girl sentiments. So on the sketch, you'll have seen at the top, there's sort of 3 pieces of paper, strips across the top with sewing through them. Now my idea was to take this wavy paper from the Horizon collection and choose 3 colours of the waves and use those rather than straight pieces of paper. So I'm just messing and playing around with that, deciding which colours to use. And then once I decide, I just trim them down and lay them on top how I think they're going to go. So I quite like that. And the next thing I do is I ruffle the edges of those waves. So I started off with my scissors, but actually because the paper was wavy, it was easier to do it with a distress tool. Okay, so I've done all 3 of those. And the next thing to do is to just cut off the manufacturer's strip, and then I'm going to stick them down to some white cardstock. Excuse me, I've had a cold this past week, so my voice is a bit croaky, but I feel fine. So excuse me if it sounds a bit strange. So at this point, I'm wondering if I might put those at the bottom. So I'm just sticking it down. I actually end up putting them at the top, but for now they're at the bottom. So there we go. So I've kept to sort of the pinks and the yellows and the peaches, just so that they all sort of match. And I also, you can't really quite see it, but I ran my sewing machine across each wave in a corresponding colour thread. You'll see those better on the close-ups. So just something there, I actually did some mixed media which didn't work out well, so I cut those stripes off the top and restuck them on a piece of white. I cut it out, you didn't need to see it, but it all went very, very badly wrong. And I thought I'd ruin the layout, but it was okay. I salvaged it. So I've got this vellum from Dear Lizzie with those flowers on. So I've cut a few of those out, and I'm also fussy cutting this flower out of a Project Life card, which I don't end up using, but it's fine because I've put it in with the die cut, so I have it for later. But I didn't show you all of the cutting out process because it took a little while there. So next I'm just cutting some Project Life cards to back my photos. I was going to use the blue stripe that had left over from the flower, but in the end I actually decided to use some pink and peach ones because they match in with the top, and I didn't have any other blue in there. And actually, in fact, I do end up with a little bit of blue, but you'll see that in a second. It's very small. Okay, so I'm just arranging how this is going to look. I like the rainbow up there. I actually switch it out for a different rainbow, but there will be a rainbow there, and I like how that looks. It looks really good with the wavy paper. So I'm just putting out some various different die cuts and bits and pieces that I think I might use. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. Okay, so just cut the leaves off of those flowers. I think they were quite small, and so I didn't really think they looked very neat. They looked a bit scruffy on there, so I hadn't cut them out very well in the first place. So I'm just sticking down the photos, and then I have those die cuts at the top. I've just put those sort of colour matching on the waves at the top. And now I'm using these fabric bows. They're fantastic. I think they're in the embellishment kit, and they're Hip Kit exclusive, and you just sort of fold one piece over like a bow, you wrap a little piece around the middle, and then you stick it on the backing, which you can see laying on the layout there. And that's really, really cute. I love those so much. I'll definitely be using those on my layouts over the coming weeks. Okay, so I'm putting some foam on the back of the photos, just to raise those up a little, all 3 of them. And these are of my oldest goddaughter. She was just daydreaming, and I started snapping photos. So she was pulling faces at me to say, don't do it. But she looked so sweet. And they go really well with the sentiments in the kit, I thought. Excuse me again. So on these leaves, I think I'm going to I cut out the white space around the leaf, but I don't actually use it in the end. But I do often do that on die cuts because I just think just makes them pop off the page a little bit more if they're not laying quite flat. And when the white's around them, they lay flatter. Okay, so this is a sticker from the All Heart for the rainbow that I'm going to use. And what you saw me do there was put some talcum powder on the reverse of it. That just stops it being sticky because I wanted it to stick up. I didn't want it to lay flat, so I just did it that way. So these butterflies are acetate, they're exclusive to Hip Kit as well, and they're fantastic. You can just layer up, have multi-layer butterflies, and you'll see there what I've chosen is sort of colour matching ones to put together. And they, you could lay out more than two, you could sew through them. I decided to stick them down and just pop their wings up a little, but I love them. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. So here I pull out the stamp set from All Hearts, and I just have some pink ink, which I use to stamp a few little hearts around the page. They look super cute. And I'm just starting to stick things down now. I'd already stuck those vellum flowers down, but now I've stuck the photos, and I'm sticking the bow there onto the end of the rainbow, which I think looks very sweet. The die cut hearts I'm sticking around the page, and sticking the butterflies down. So this is a bit of a labour of love. I stick the butterflies with my Scotch tacky glue and they don't really stick. So I try a couple of times putting more glue, and in the end I have to give in and pull out some stronger glue. So I've got some Beacon 3-in-1, which is actually very similar to Glossy Accents. So you'll see me pull that out in a second, just to try and make them stay together. So then I pull out these puffy stickers, and this is what I had in mind when I pulled out the photos. So Go Girl, and then there's one that says Daydream, which I pull off in a second and put below, and it just works perfectly there. And I just add some of the black stars around the page just to pull in the black from the title, because there was no other black. There you can see I'm trying again with that glue, and it's not great. I want to use that blah blah blah, but I can't make it work anywhere, so I don't use it in the end, but that would have been quite cute on there if I could have made it work. And I think we're getting very close to the final layout. Okay, so this is the Lindy's Magical Powders in the shaker, so I just mix some into sort of a watercolour and do just a few subtle splatters around. Nothing major. After my failed mixed media earlier, I was not loving a mixed media today. I don't know what went wrong, but I've kept the background, so maybe I'll use it at some future date for cutting something out of. And that's the final layout. I hope you like it. I hope it gives you some inspiration, and you'll join our sketch challenge. Here are some close-ups. Please do hit like if you like it, and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.